Well, praise the Lord. You were born to win. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care what you're experiencing right now. I want you to know that yes, you were born to win. How do I know? How do I know that you were born to win? Because the Bible tells us this is the victory that overcomes the world. Listen to that. It's our faith. He says, I know the thoughts and the plans I have for you. Listen at that. They're thoughts of good and not of evil, and to give you an expected end. Why? Because you were born to win. Because before you were formed in your mother's womb, listen what he says, I knew you. I knew you, and I called you. Before you were even formed, I called you to carry a message to a nation. Why? Because you were born to win. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm so excited about this word. Guys, a couple of announcements before we get started. Here it is right here. We are 300. I think we're at 260 now, 260 subscribers. You can help us hit this goal of 300. All you got to do is simply take the opportunity right now. While you're sitting there, just stop the broadcast right now. Go to YouTube. Maybe you're listening to it on YouTube. All you got to do is just click subscribe and then click that notification bell. You'll get a notification every time we go live. We are on a goal of hitting 300 subscribers. When I posted this, we were at 250. Now we're at 260. So we're right there. We're right there at that goal of hitting 300 subscribers. You can help us hit that goal, man. All you have to do is just take this opportunity now and go and click subscribe. And then once you click subscribe, the little notification bell there, click on that. And then you can join this army of 300. You know by now, my wife and I, we're doing a conference. Here it is. It's called Revive. Revive. We're looking to revive 4 areas of your life. We're going to look to revive your life. We're going to look to revive your marriage. My wife is going to talk about how to revive your health. You're going to hear her story of how she got a powerful story that she's going to share. And then I'm going to talk about how to revive your dream. You don't want to miss this event, guys. It's December the 14th. You have to register for the event. We have limited seating. I didn't go with a big space this time. I went with a small venue. So you have to register. It's going to be in McDonough, Georgia at the Homewood Suites. You have to register. So there is a link that will be clicked on with this video tonight. Click on that link, go ahead and register. It's going to be December the 14th. I want you guys to be a part of it. We opened with the bumper that's going to talk about the conference, but I'm going to play it one more time, and then we'll get into the Word of God. Guys, come on out and be a part of it, man. It's going to be wonderful. We're going to be looking at 4 areas of your life. We're going to look to revive your life. We're going to be looking to revive your marriage, revive your health, and then we're going to talk about reviving your dream. We're going to do it all in one day. McDonough, Georgia, Homewood Suites. All you have to do is click on the register button, the registration button. That's in the at the beginning of this video. Click on that, and then all you have to do that to register for the conference, because we have limited seating on this one. So I want you guys to really be a part of it. All of my partners, I want you guys to be a part of it. Come on out and help us revive our life. Guys, I got an amazing word for you tonight. We're going to be talking about 4 destructive types of husbands. Now, I want you to imagine this. Last week, I'm getting ready to come on. I plugged everything up. I sat down, had my notes, same notes from last week. Here they are right here. I got them in my hand. And so I'm getting ready to go live. Right when I was about to hit go live, the entire power went out. In the whole neighborhood, the power went out. Went down the street there. A tree had fell in the front of our neighborhood there down the street, knocked out the entire power. It was bad. It was a really bad storm. But nobody lost their lives in my area. And so my family, we're okay. And so I'm happy and I'm excited about that. But we do know that there are some families that are still struggling right now. Some families, I heard, as a matter of fact, one of my people I work with, their family lives there. He was not able to get in contact with his sister. Now, I want you to imagine this now. The storm happened on Thursday of last week, Thursday or Friday of last week. And so Friday when the storm came, he was not able to get in contact with his sister until Tuesday of this week. He went that long without talking because his sister lives in that Carolina area that it hits. He was not able to get in contact with his sister, but thank God he finally was able to get his sister on the phone and talk to his sister and make sure that she was okay. So we're excited about that. We're happy that we didn't have any bad news with that. But we do know some people. So remember, if you can give to your local Red Cross, whatever you can do to give to support people that are not as fortunate as you right now. They don't have power right now. They don't have water right now. They can't take a clean bath right now. Those things, those simple things that we take sometimes for granted. Some people right now tonight, they're without that. So let's do what we can to maybe give to the Red Cross, give to someone, give to a local ministry that is helping those people in that area, so we can do whatever we can to be a part of that. Got an amazing word for you on tonight. We're talking about 4 destructive kinds of husbands. I gave you the testimony about what happened on last week when I was about to go live and I was about to talk about this husband, which is the super busy husband. This is a husband that I fell victim to. I fell victim to this husband. And I know a lot of my ministry friends, a lot of my friends that are in this coaching profession, they fall victim to this type of husband. And I understand what you're trying to do. I understand what's happening. And you're going after something because it's something about our psyche, right? As men that make us, we feel like we want to achieve and we want to feel like we just want to win. And we want to be the best at what we're doing. And so many times we have so many casualties along our climb to success. Now, here's the sad thing about having those casualties along the climb to our level of success. Oftentimes, the people that are casualties are the people that are so close to us. Our spouse, our children, our family members. They are the casualties that suffer so much on this climb to success. And one of the things that bothered me was I was listening to Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp and on a podcast this week. And Shannon Sharp said something, and it really bothered me. It really, really, really bothered me because I'm going to minister on it tonight because he was talking about the price you have to pay in order to be successful. Okay? And he was beginning to say it is a price that you have to pay to be great at something. And he was saying, so on your climb to greatness, he was saying, you're going to miss some birthday parties. You're going to miss some dinners with your spouse. You're going to, he began to talk about it and talk about all of the sacrifice that he has made to get to where he is. Now, he has accomplished a lot. I am no kind of way disparaging what he has accomplished and no kind of way putting down what he has done and putting down his success. Stephen A. Smith came on and he echoed the exact same thing. They talked about how you sometimes can't do this for your children. You can't be at this event. And it paints the picture that if you want to be successful in this life, this is the picture that they were painting. Because they were talking about why he's not married. He said, I can't do two things at one time. He said, in order for me to be great, he said, I had to give all of my focus and all of my time to this particular thing in order to be great. And the picture that he was painting is I believe it's the kryptonite to success. You know what kryptonite is? Kryptonite was Superman's enemy, right? Whenever somebody would show him kryptonite, he would automatically become weak and he couldn't even be Superman anymore. I believe that message is the kryptonite to success because it makes you feel like you have to choose between being that or being this. Or to be a good husband, in order to be a good husband, in order to be a good father, I have to give all of my focus to this. I can't be great at my career. I can't be great at what I'm called to do. I have to make a choice. And oftentimes the casualties of our family, because we choose the latter. We don't choose our family most of the time. We choose our career. We choose this climb rather than focusing on what God, I believe, has called us to. My wife and I, our ministry is, and what we call our marriage ministry, you can have it all. Because we really believe that you can have it all. You're looking at two people, my wife from middle-class family, right there in Birmingham, Alabama, decided to go to Tennessee State University, left Tennessee State University with honors, went to Auburn University, graduated from Auburn University, and then was one of the first, she wasn't the first, but she was one of the first Black people to graduate from the PhD program in the School of Business at Auburn University. That is success. She did that with a husband. She did that with children. And she still did that doing the work that God called her to do. Me, same deal. Family, two working parents. My father was a bus driver. My mother put her way through college. She cleaned people's houses, eventually went into education, put herself through school, and eventually graduated as working in the education field. I came out of that. I went to college. I flunked out of college. I went to a small school, was not ready for college, had a misdiagnosed learning disability, finally married my best friend, Dr. Kimberly Johnson, and she looked at me one day. I told this message countless times. She looked at me one day and she said, you can do better than what you're doing. Because at that time, I was working a dead-end job, and I just kind of gave up on everything. But one day she looked at me and she said, you can do better than what you're doing. And she gathered my transcripts together. Now, here's the funny part. She said, so when you flunked out of college, how many years had you been in college? And so I equated years to classification, but that's not necessarily true. You know, you can be in college for 10 years, but don't have any college credit. So I had been in college for 4 years. I had 4 years that I had been in college. And so when we were looking at my transcripts, I only had 13 hours that I had passed. I know that's horrible. 4 years of my life, I passed 13 hours. But she looked at me and she saw something better. She said, you can do better than that. And so I went to college, just had to study a little bit harder because I got this reading disability thing I'm trying to struggle with, but I ended up graduating with a 3.2 GPA from my undergraduate degree. Here's a guy who had trouble reading, graduated with a 3.2 GPA, went on and got my master's degree, and then got my doctorate degree in education. And empowering youth around the world, telling them that you can do it, you can be whatever God has called you to be. All you got to do is willing to work a little bit harder. I believe that is success. I did that, with children, a wife, and still trying to climb the ladder of success. Not only me, let's talk about some people that have done some things, what the world consider better than what Kim and I have accomplished. We have a home here, 2 doctorate degrees, didn't have what people will say a silver spoon in their mouth, but I will argue that point because we had a silver spoon of love, we had a silver spoon of morals, and we had a silver spoon of working hard to get whatever you want in this world. And so we had that being fed into us, and we climbed the ladder of our success, and we're still climbing to greater heights. But let's look at Tony Dungy. Won 2 Super Bowls or 3 Super Bowls, or 2 or 3 Super Bowls, I'm not sure. But he won some Super Bowls coaching in the NFL. Wife, children was a part of that vision and dream. Denzel Washington. Everybody knows when Denzel Washington make a movie, baby, it's box office. I don't know too many movies that he's done that has flopped. I'm talking about Academy Award-winning Denzel Washington. Did it with the wife, did it with children. Nick Saban did it with the wife, did it with the children. 7 national championships. Not only did he do that, he got philanthropic things that he's done. He's built nonprofit organizations. Why is it you can't have it all? Bishop T.D. Jakes. I think he built one of the greatest ministries on the face of the earth. Did it with the wife and did it with children. He said something so powerful one time. One of his children, his daughter became pregnant out of wedlock. And I remember he was talking to her. He gave this testimony on TV. And she said the most powerful thing that the most powerful thing that her father said to her was, I'll walk away from everything to help you. All you got to do is say the word. I'll leave everything right now. That's a person that got their priorities together. We're talking about the super busy, distracted husband, because you're trying to climb this ladder of a world system of success, and you are being limited, and you're not experiencing the success that you can experience because you're believing a lie that the world has told you. I'm almost done. Barack Obama. Now, come on now. Now, led the most powerful nation on the earth. He didn't lose his family. He didn't lose his children in the process of climbing the ladder of greatness. Now, I could pull out females in this as well, but I stuck with males because we're talking about the super busy husband. We're talking about the husband that is distracted. They're too busy trying to do other things than keeping the main thing the main thing. One person I almost forgot to mention, the person that mostly impacted my life, Calvin Washington, my pastor, came from the cotton field. He picked cotton in Texas. He came from the cotton fields. He picked cotton. He came from the cotton fields all the way to a federal judge. He didn't lose his family. He was still moral to his family. He was still, he kept his priorities. So this idea of the super busy husband, let's talk about some of the characteristics of a super busy husband, because maybe you don't think you're a super busy husband, right? Maybe you don't think, you say, well, I kind of got some things together, but let me ask you a question. Let's ask some questions. Let's talk about some of these right. Number one, do you feel like you have to choose between your family and your career? Are there times when you feel like I got to make this choice between my family or my career? If you got to make a choice between your family and your career, it's possibly that you're too busy, because that shouldn't even be a choice. That shouldn't even be a choice. My family. Easily. Number two, do you feel emotionally distanced? Like you are on an island by yourself in the house. Nobody can really talk to you. Nobody really knows what's going on here. Nobody really wants to engage with you. Nobody wants to come up and talk to you. Your kid don't want to come up. My sixth grade son, babe, I'm telling you, I don't know what stage he's going through now, but every day he wants to wrestle with me. I have to tell him, Daniel, I can beat you, man. No, I probably could, but I don't want to wrestle like that. But every day he wants to wrestle. Every day he wants to play. How many husbands out there, your kids, every day they're trying to pull at you and get your attention. Every day they want to do, and I know my sixth grade son is listening to this, but when he gets in the car with me, when I pick him up from school, he has some of his conversations. I'd be like, what is he talking about? But at that moment, that is the most important conversation. That is the most important conversation. And he said something to me. Well, I ain't going to tell you about that because he told me something in confidence stuff that I won't embarrass you this time. Dan, I can. Do you miss major milestones? Do you miss major milestones? And you can't go to the birthday party. Your baby only going to be two one time. There's a man out there who I really think who did it right. Right now, I think he's doing an amazing job, and that's Deion Sanders. He is doing an amazing. What better way to have your family working with you? You climb the ladder of success so that you could bring your family along with you. So many times we climb the ladder of success and we leave our family behind. And not only do we leave them behind, when we come back around, we too tired. We too tired now. We can't have conversations. We too tired to talk. We too tired to engage. We too tired to, we too tired. We're just too tired. And your family needs you. They need you. Is there a breakdown in communication? We're talking about the super busy husband. I'm just giving you a test right now because maybe you don't think you're super busy husband, but these are some of the things that I had to overcome. Is there a communication breakdown? You and your wife just passing each other. It ain't no talking now. It ain't no talking. Even sometimes, listen. And my wife had to tell me this one day. We were talking. Sometimes, it's not that your wife wants to talk to you. But I remember she said this to me. She said, honey, me laying next to you in the bed, and I'm able to put my head on your chest. She said, it brings such peace. And I'm able to drift off to sleep. Now I know, man, your arm about to go to sleep. I know you like, oh my God. But think about what you're willing to be uncomfortable for in your career. You don't like that person that's on the same staff with you. You can't stand them, but you're willing to be uncomfortable for 8 hours. But you can't allow your wife to lay her head on your chest so she can rest. Think about what you're so willing to be uncomfortable with. And you will have uncomfortable conversations that needs to be had, but you're not willing to have that same type of uncomfortable conversation with the people that matter the most. Your children are going through some major things on this earth, but you can't have that uncomfortable conversation. Stress. Now, this is one my wife had to get on me about this one on yesterday. She had to talk to me about this one because I didn't realize I was stressed, but when I started talking to her, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of stressing a little bit. I didn't realize I was stressed, but I was kind of stressed. And what it is, man, and here's the thing. What happens a lot of times, we're so busy internalizing how we feel. And I told this, I said, sometimes we're trying to process what we're trying to say and what we're trying to go through. But what's happening is the people that are around you, they're trying to figure out what's going on. So we got to learn how to release the stress. Release the stress. Talk about it. And I know a lot of times men like to process things, but that internal processing is damaging your health. You got to learn how to open up and talk about it. Let's talk about some ways to overcome being this super busy husband. I got 5 things I want to discuss with you. But before I discuss that, I want to talk a little bit about the conference that we're going to be doing, Revive 2024. Guys, I want you to be a part of this. It's going to be amazing. We're going to be talking about 4 areas that we're going to be reviving in your life. We're going to be reviving your marriage. We're going to be reviving your mind. We're going to be reviving your health. We're going to be reviving the dream. I want you to look at this bumper, and then we'll come back and I'll give you these 4 ways. Come on now. Come on, guys. I want you to really be a part of it. We're going to be doing 4 areas of your life. It's going to be an amazing. We got some amazing speakers that are going to be there pouring into your life. I believe it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a dynamic dance team. We're going to have some amazing music. It's going to be awesome. And a lot of you guys just come to my Miracles at Christmas conference. It's going to be like Miracles at Christmas, but on steroids. It's going to be amazing. All right. How do you overcome this super busy husband? How do we overcome being a super busy husband? I got 5 ways I'm going to share with you on how to overcome being the super busy husband. Number one, prioritize what matters most. And you're going to have to really think through that. Like, what is the most important thing? Like, what is really the most important thing? Now, that's going to change. I had to learn that. That's going to change as your children get older and as your marriage matures and as things begin to, evolve in your life. So you're going to have to constantly go back and reassess this and see what is most important. But the way you're going to find out what's most important is communicating, guys. You got to talk. You got to talk. You got to find out what is going on in your children's life. What is going on in your wife's life? What is the most important thing? And when you find out what's the most important thing, which leaves you number 2, now you got to block off that time. You got to block off that time. The other day, my oldest son called me. He called me like 2 or 3 times. And so I was doing some other stuff, but I really felt like the Spirit of God said, you need to take that call. So I picked up the call and said, hey, what's going on, man? And so we were just talking, and he was just talking. And Dylan, you have to know Dylan. Dylan really never does that. And I was like, well, what? And I listened, I said, God, what's going on? And the Holy Spirit began to minister to me. He wants to talk. So I had to, whatever I was doing, that was the most important thing in that moment, because that was his way of crying out. He wanted to talk. And it was, I can't remember what we were talking about that at that moment, but he wanted to talk. And because, guys, listen, as we're going up this ladder and we're climbing, and you're going to be great, but don't lose casualties of the people that matter the most. When you get to the top of the building, we can celebrate together. Don't celebrate alone. So number 1, prioritize what matters most. Number 2, block off some time. Number 3, delegate. Delegate, 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 delegate. You ain't got to do everything, pastor. You ain't got to do everything. I had to learn that one. You ain't got to do everything. And all this worrying you're doing, it ain't going to make the church grow. Pastor Michael D. Moore told me that, guys, that was one of the best advice he ever gave me. And I'm telling you, when he said that to me, it was like a whole weight lifted off of my shoulder. I was talking to him. I only had like 5 minutes of his time. And he pulled me aside. I'll never forget this. And we sat down right there on the steps, right there in the pulpit. And we sat on the steps because I was boohooing because we was going through a crazy time in the ministry at that time. And I was boohooing, I was crying. I was telling how the people had did me, what had happened, what this and all. I was just crying and stuff like that. He told me, he said, first of all, he said, understand something. These are not your people. He said, these are God's people. And he said, God just gave you the opportunity to shepherd them. Nobody had ever explained it to me in my mind like that. When that was explained to me in my mind, wait a minute, these ain't my fault. Listen, I'm the pastor. I'm gonna feed you, and if you don't eat, that's fine. I'm gonna feed you, I'm gonna equip you, I'm gonna build you up. It is your choice to eat it. If you don't want to eat it, the blood is not going to be on my hands. See, you're worrying, you're tossing and turning, and guess what? And my wife said this to me now. Now, the Pastor Mike said it to me. You know, it kind of rearranged things in my head. But Kim said something to me one time. It totally set me free. Man, I was just in knots talking about this and this and that. Kim said to me, she said, now you worried about all this, and they sleeping real good. She said, they are not concerned about what you're concerned about. She said, them folks sleeping good. So if they're sleeping good, she said, you need to sleep good. I said, you know what? They are. They're sleeping real good. They ain't for letting them folks worry me, and stop letting them worry you. Delegate, get it off your chest, feed your people, empower people to do it. If they don't do it, listen, guys, it's their church. It's their church. And I had to realize that you talking about church growth, listen, bring some people. Bring them. If you don't invite them, hey, I'm going to just preach. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to show up and I'm going to preach. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to make sure I feed whoever's in front of me. But if you want the work to grow, you better invite some folks. Sheep produce sheep. You got to invite some people. Man, get that off your chest, man. Stop worrying about that. Go online. It'll grow online. Set boundaries. I wish I had a keyboard player now to really do. Set boundaries. Stop answering your phone when you're on a date with your wife. I don't care who called. I don't care. I don't care. When you on a date with your wife, if your children call, then you need to probably answer them. I'm talking about jobs. When they calling, hey, well, if I don't answer the phone, I might lose the recruit. You ain't never have them. You ain't never have them. You didn't. You didn't have them. You thought you had them, but you didn't. Stop letting people interrupt your peace with your family. Set boundaries. I set boundaries. I set boundaries. My wife will tell you, baby. I said, I ain't gonna tell you my time. From this time to time, if you ain't dead, I ain't showing up. You got to be dead. And if you're dead, I might. I might come. I might. You might, because I've poured into you, I've built you, I've showed you how to fight. If you, when there's a certain time I have with my family, if I'm with my family on that time, I'm not answering the call. And they might leave. Adios, muchachos. I'll see you later. You got to have the 10th spiritual gift. That's the gift of goodbye. Number 5, practice mindfulness. What does that mean? Nick Saban has a saying. He said, be where your feet are. Be where your feet are. In other words, when you're there, be there. I have to grow in this area too, guys. I have to grow in this area because there's sometimes I can be there and I can be kind of, around. My wife, she'll be like, you ain't listening to me. And she'll get quiet and she might get mad, have passive aggressive way she does sometimes. I know she's listening, but passive aggressive way she does sometimes. But I do try to do a good job of when I'm there, be there. Be all in. All in. Because when you're at work, you there. You there now. You there. So make sure you are there with your family. All right, guys, here we go. Revive 2024, December the 14th, McDonough, Georgia. It's going to be amazing. I want to see you guys there. We're going to be at the Homewood Suites. You got to reserve now. You got to reserve your place. Please, please, please go in and reserve. I want to see you there. We're going to be reviving 4 areas of your life. We're going to be talking about how to revive your mind, how to revive your marriage, how to revive your health, and how to revive your dream. I want to see you guys there. I believe it's going to be an amazing event. I really do. I'm praying for it. Pray for us too. Pray for us. Pray for us that it be a super successful event. God bless you guys. We'll see you on next week.